24 minutes past 11 o'clock. It is rice. How much do you eat? How much rice do you eat? In the UK, we're eating more and more and more of it, but there have been reports that rice contains inorganic arsenic, which is, as we know, a poison. Cause of cancer as well. Should we be worried? Now, to put things in perspective, arsenic is in soil, all right? Yeah, there is arsenic in soil. In your back garden now, there is arsenic in the soil. So small amounts, of course, can get into food that's grown in soil. But the levels of in food generally so low that they're not really a cause for concern. But rice, of course, little bit different because rice is grown under flooded conditions, which means more arsenic from the soil can be absorbed, it seems, into the grains. Now, eating a couple of portions of rice a week isn't really a high risk, but maybe there are questions if it's a lot of rice or when you're looking at children and babies. To get some response to this, Yoga Proudlove's with us. Yoga is a nutritionist and runs JP Dynamic Fitness and looks as fit as she sounds. Just runs in this morning. Did these reports surprise you, Yoga?
They don't surprise me now, and the main reason why they don't surprise me is due to the widespread pollution in environment that we're all facing nowadays. So arsenic is, as you say, found in soil, in rocks, it's in water as well, but due to things like widespread use of pesticides, herbicides, wood preservatives, fertilizers, is more and more of that inorganic arsenic is seeping into the water. And as you correctly said, rice absorbs more of arsenic because it's grown in flooded fields. It actually absorbs 10 to 20 more times.
Gosh, now you're a nutritionist, you know what you're doing. First of all, rice, forget the arsenic for a minute, rice generally, is that a good thing to be eating?
Yes, it is. It is good, yes. And actually more people tend to eat now, turn to rice, due to gluten-free diets.
Right. And how do you prepare it, personally?
I will be very honest with you. I don't prepare it the way I should prepare it.
I like the honest nutritionist in this morning. Go on.
I'm just an average person, actually, that's got maybe slightly above average interest in nutrition.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean life doesn't get in the way.
So, yeah, I know the feeling. So how do you do it then? Go on, now we're being honest.
I just cook it.
Boil in the bag.
I just cook it, and actually I've switched from brown rice to white rice recently after reading some research. But that's maybe a topic for another conversation.
And so you put it in water?
Yes.
How much water do you use?
That's another thing. I use only 2-to-1 ratio, as I've been advised and taught.
So to cook it, generally according to your earlier steers, you had twice as much water as you had rice.
That's correct.
And now what do we find from these investigations into the arsenic?
Well, we find actually that to reduce the arsenic in rice, you should ideally soak the rice the night before, or if you forget that, at least put it to soak in the morning if you're cooking in the evening, or at least wash it really well under running water.
And then cook it in what quantity?
And then actually use 5-to-1 ratio.
So 5 times as
5
much
to
water.
1,
I don't
yes.
think I've got a pan that big.
Well, how much rice do you cook? That's another question.
So 5 to 1?
Yes, and discard the water after cooking, or even rinse the rice again.
Yeah. And brown rice, because the different sorts of rices have got different quantities of potential arsenic in them.
That's correct, yes. White rice has got less. Basmati, jasmine rice has got less. Rice that is grown in more, let's put it, pristine countries like North Pakistan, North India, Nepal, has got less as well, less arsenic in it.
Yeah, and thinking, it's interesting, isn't it, when you hear this sort of advice, it often contradicts earlier advice, because I thought that brown rice, because it's still got the husks and things like that, was better for you.
No, as I say, I switched actually back to white rice because we're not eating as much rice. So the poisoning from arsenic is actually only relevant if you're eating a lot of rice. So it's every day, quite big portions. You also have to bear in mind other processed rice products. So that's your rice cereals, rice milk, rice pasta, rice crackers. When it comes to children, that's rice-based baby formula and foods with rice for babies. But if you eat rice only like once or twice a week, and not many processed rice products, there is really not such a huge risk.
No, absolutely, because I have rice. I'm so predictable, isn't it? You get to a certain age, you eat the same things on the same night every Friday night. Go to my favourite Indian restaurant on Maid Marian Way and have rice. And as soon as I read the headlines of this, I thought, oh dear, I'm eating it regularly. But as you say, once or twice a week, according to all the latest advice, that's fine, isn't it?
Yes, it is fine. I mean, as I say, if you have a massive portion, maybe try to reduce it and replace it with some more vegetables. Also, it's good for variety. So look at quinoa and other buckwheat, other grains. That's just as nice as rice, really, to have as a side dish.
Yoga, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. And you had to avoid Carlton Road. We were talking earlier on about the potential gas leak that's being addressed. You got cut off.
I saw the blue flashing lights, and I thought, quick thinking, turn left.
Yeah, and you did.
I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here.
Got here safely. Thank you very much indeed. Yoga Proudlove from JP Dynamic Fitness, also a nutritionist. The FSA, the Food Standards Agency, advises we should eat a healthy, balanced diet and varied as well. Rice and rice products can be part of this, but they have produced specific advice that toddlers and young children, ages 1 to 4 or 5 years, should not be given rice drinks as a substitute for breast milk, infant formula or cow's milk. It's a little after 11:30 at BBC Radio Nottingham. Your headlines this morning: around 60 people have been evacuated from their homes earlier this morning after a gas leak in Nottingham.